Hello, and welcome back. It's Mike again with some information, updates, and reminders about the 2023 Vanguard GT, which is now coming up in 3 weeks. So time for some reminders while people still have time to take advantage of any army changes or painting changes or logistical, or organizational, or travel changes. Um, or whatever. So this is going to be a laundry list of information that you may find interesting and useful. That's why I'm giving it to you here 3 weeks early, so it can all sink in and everybody can feel very well informed. So first round challenges have been going on. There have been a few that happened in like private channels, but also some that happened in more public places. So if you've been trying to keep up with those, we are currently up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 6 challenges at a 14 table event. So that's nearly half of the field now are going to be challenges, which is awesome. I will include the list of current challenges. I think I can do that right now. I can do it as a comment on this video, which I shall do. So I'll put that URL in as a comment. If you want to see the current challenges that are up, who's already been challenged and who's still available, we are, of course, still accepting challenges up until lists are due on Friday the 21st. After that, I'm going to generate the pairings for the first round. So if you haven't submitted your challenge by then, sorry you waited too long. So if you're interested in doing a first round challenge, please post that challenge to your intended person someplace where I can see it and they can see it. Tagging both of us on Facebook is great. As I've said before, and as you can see when you look at the list, there are a list of tables that are themed after the different armies or locations in Panathor. And so when you challenge someone, I will put you on the table for that's themed after the army that's been challenged. And then I'm still printing several medals here. Ooh. And these medals will say either Defender or Conqueror. And then whoever wins the first round challenge will get the appropriate medal. If you were the person who was challenged, you'll get a Defender medal at the end of the first round. And if you were the challenger, then you'll get a Conqueror medal. And I just do that for fun because I think it makes the challenges a little more interesting. So yeah, if there's someone you've been meaning to play, you look over the list of the participants, you look over the list of currently challenged folks, and there's somebody that you've been meaning to play that you haven't got a chance to yet, feel free to post a fun and tongue-in-cheek. This is all in good fun. Nobody really means any of this stuff. It's all just we have a good time talking some smack to each other. So just have a good time with it, someplace where I can see and they can see, and we'll get you hooked up with your first round challenge match there, and everyone else will just be randomly paired. Second, I've been printing swag. So for this year, I decided to go back to one that I did a few years ago, but it's been a few years, and do some more 6-inch widgets, 6-inch rulers, which I find handy. I tend to use mine every game. I print them up in a variety of colors. These are only some of the colors, but there should be plenty to pick from, and they're fun. 6-inch rulers, 6 inches down one side, 5 inches up the other, each inch demarcated. It's an inch wide, so you can easily check spacing between units. And it's got a little 45-degree angle at the top for quickly checking arcs and things like that. And it lays flat on the table, and you can easily see individual inches without having to hold a ruler. I find it pretty handy. Folks that use measuring sticks, of course, will find, you already know the utility in these sorts of things. We'll have these available for everybody at the event. Everybody can grab one of whatever color you want. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I printed like 7 different colors. So everybody should be able to find something that they like the looks of, that either goes with their army, or their dice, or their club swag, or whatever. Friday night this year is usually open gaming, and we will have open gaming space again. But also, as same as last year, Rob Kenzie is going to be bringing his black powder stuff and setting up a large black powder game. For anybody who wants to get involved in that, that'll be Friday evening. So if that's something, if you're going to be around on Friday evening anyway, and you want to do that, there will probably be space for you to just walk up and say you want to get involved, and he'll give you one of the the companies to command on one side or the other. And if it's something that you definitely want to do, and you want to make sure that there's space for you, then just drop Rob Kenzie a note or post anywhere on Facebook where we're talking about this tournament and let him know that you want to, like save a spot, and I'm sure he'll be happy to do that for you. Next, I want to talk briefly about terrain at this event, because I do terrain ever so slightly differently than some other tournaments. I'm trying to pull this out to a separate window. There we go. It's about to do something really dumb. Where are we going here? Sorry, I'm trying to find my window where I have the terrain rules open, and utterly failing to do so. Pardon me for a moment. Technical difficulties. All right, there we go. Should have had that preset. Apologies that I did not. Okay. So similar to other tournaments that you go to in this region and neighboring regions, at least, I'm sure other people do this in other places, but I haven't been too many other regions other than the ones adjacent to us, so I'm not sure how they do it. There will be a terrain map on each table for each round. The terrain map will be the same on all tables for every round. So regardless of what table you're on, you'll be playing with the same terrain map, and then regardless of what table you play on the next round, you'll update the terrain and be playing on the same map as everyone that round too. So you get a different terrain map every round. This is pretty standard now. Everybody knows how this works. The only thing that's particularly different about my event is the heights of the terrains and the number of the different pieces that are available. Most of them will feel very familiar. The blocking terrain and tall, difficult terrain, such as forest and buildings, are of course height 9. So even height 6 units can't see over them when they're on a hill. So they are, functionally infinitely tall. There'll be 2 height 3 hills. There'll be 2 height 1 obstacles, like you will expect. The thing that I do slightly differently is, instead of just 2 flat pieces of terrain or 1 very short and 1 flat piece of terrain, I do 1 flat piece of terrain and 2 height 2 pieces of difficult terrain. So fields that are normally just height 1 and that you can see across easily at other events are actually height 2 here, which means they do break line of sight for height 2 models, things like war engines and infantry. So be aware of that, and don't let it take you by surprise when you get to the event and you start setting up the terrain. I do that because early in 3rd edition, war engines were really, really good, and just being in terrain didn't matter at all. And so I wanted to add terrain that would actually block line of sight and give people a few more places to hide their units completely, and make shooting a little challenging. That's not to say there aren't shooting lanes or that a shooting army can't do well. It just means that it's going to be a little difficult for them to just set up on the back line and camp and hit whatever they want, right? Like you'll have some spaces to maneuver units and keep them out of sight from different parts of the table. And folks that bring heavy shooting armies should be expected to have to move things some in order to get clear shots at what they are going to want to shoot at as the game goes on. So next, I want to talk a little bit about how I do door prizes, because door prizes are a thing that most tournaments have, where it's a big pile of stuff, and maybe they give out tickets during the event, or maybe it's for charity, so you can buy tickets during the event. I give out door prizes over the course of the event, a few at a time in between rounds. And the way you get tickets for door prizes, there's 2 ways. One is you can carpool, and 2 is just based on the game results. So when I say carpooling, The thing that I tend to run out of first at this venue is parking. So I try to encourage people to carpool as much as possible. Um, when you arrive at the venue, and I only do this once for the first time you show up, so it's not like you can, pack the car the second day, Sunday, a whole bunch, and with more people and expect to get more tickets. But like whoever you travel to the event and travel to the venue with, when you arrive, however many people you have in your car, everyone in the car will get one ticket for every person in the car, basically. Um, so long as it's not just the driver, right? Like so long as there's two people in the car or more, or in the vehicle, you'll get two tickets. Or if there's three people in the car, you get three, or four, you get four. You get the gist. But if you show up as a single vehicle driver, then thanks for coming, but I'm not giving extra tickets to people because again, I'm trying to encourage people to carpool, just to keep the parking area from getting too crowded or spilling down, onto the driveway or the road. So folks who are doing things like staying in local hotels, if you want to get together with other folks who are staying at the same hotel as you and all take one vehicle to the venue, even if you drove to the hotel separately, that's still fine with me. When you show up at the venue, you guys will still get the door price tickets in accordance with that. Because again, keeping the parking area here as clear and easy for people to get into and out of as possible is very important. A lot of the food that we're going to eat this weekend gets delivered to the house over the course of the weekend, so the delivery people being able to get in and out is kind of important, and also just again because parking is what I run out of first. So the other way is according to game results. So for every round, if you won, you get one ticket. If you drew, you get two, and if you lost, you get three. So over the course of the event, folks that have less luck competitively on the tables get more chances to win door prizes. And these are not physical tickets; they are virtual tickets. So I just keep a count. I just keep a tally of how many tickets everyone has based on the carpooling and their game results. And then in between rounds, I draw some number of virtual tickets and I just call names. So there's no tickets to carry. There's no numbers to look up. Just before every round, I will put out 3 to 5 door prize items and call that many people up in whatever order I drew them to pick from amongst those things. And I think that does a few things. I think that it means that when we get to the end of the event, we don't have to sit there for so long and wait for a whole bunch of numbers to get called, and everybody doesn't have to sit there and look at the tickets and figure out who's who, because I'm just calling names. So it both spreads it out over the course of the event and makes it so that you don't have to look up things. We don't have to figure out who's got what number or anything like that. It also limits the number of items that any one person can win, because I'm only going to call your name once per each round. Because sometimes you go to these things and one person buys a whole bunch of tickets and then wins several of the awards or wins several of the door prizes, and they just keep going up and taking stuff. This way, the most you can take home, I think, is 5, because I'll do one after every round instead of 4 or 5, because I think there's one round I skip. So it just kind of spreads it out a little more. It also means that the very best door prizes don't go immediately, because I don't put the very best stuff all out at once. I kind of put out a variety of things. So over the course of the event, you have a better chance at getting something that you might want, I feel like, because if there's some really choice stuff, it's not definitely the first person that gets drawn is going to grab that. It's if I'm one of the first couple of people drawn when that finally gets set out, then I'll have a better chance at it. So I feel like I don't know. It's just how I like to do it. I think it's a little more convenient and a little more balanced, a little more spread out. So that's that. So think about carpooling with folks if you can, and the rest of it I just do automatically, and then just call names. So you just wait for your name to be called, and that's it. Now awards, that brings up kind of other awards, which I did want to touch on momentarily, just so people know what we're giving out and how they are calculated. And once again, I will try to be, man, I should be more prepared. Let me bring it up real quick. There we go. So obviously, I give a best overall award. It's called the Vanguard Award. It is an actual metal shield, and the prize that goes with it is traditionally a Badger airbrush. That's what I'm going to be doing again this year, and that's the highest combined total of battle, appearance, and sportsmanship scores up here at the top of the page. This information is all on the website. Again, the breakdown for the event is 80 points for battle and 30 points for appearance, and then another 30 points for sportsmanship. So it's 140 points total, and the highest total of all those three will receive the Vanguard Award. Coming down under that, we've got Best General, which is just, as is traditional, highest battle points. I'm doing total points routed for the first tiebreaker for both of these awards, and strength of schedule for the second tiebreaker if it goes to a second one. Appearance judging, I will talk about in a moment. But yeah, I give a straight Best Appearance Award based on the judged results. I'd give a favorite opponent based on sportsmanship points. And the way that works out is every good game vote after a game gets you 2 points. And then at the end of the event, every favorite opponent vote gets you 4 points, and every second favorite opponent vote gets you 2, for a max of 30. And there I do battle points as the first tiebreaker and strength of schedule again as the second tiebreaker. I also give a Player's Choice Award, and that is completely based on the votes from players at the end of the tournament as to which army they liked the best. Someone on the tournament staff will break ties, possibly me, if there is a tie. Otherwise, we completely stay out of it. I give a Countercharger Award for whoever finishes statistically right in the middle of the pack. So we have 28 participants. Basically, whoever finishes 14th will receive the Countercharger Award. And again, there we're doing battle points as the first tiebreaker and total points routed as the second tiebreaker. And then for my wooden spoon type award, the last place, I give something called the Rear Guard Award. And that is the participant who got the lowest battle score, but also best sportsmanship. So it's not just whoever comes last in battle. There's also a sports component. So the way that works is it's you take the maximum number of battle points and you subtract the number that they got, and then you add their sports to it, and that's how you calculate that award. So if there's 2 people who are very near the bottom and they're only a point or 2 off in terms of battle, but one of them received several favorite opponent votes, then that's who that's who that award is going to go to, because that's just how I like it. Because the person who had the hardest time competitively but still gave other people a good game, and the people enjoyed playing, I think is what I'm looking for there. So just something to keep in mind. If you're having a rough weekend, competitively speaking, there's still plenty of stuff to play for. Favorite opponent is just straight up based on your opponent's voting for you. Countercharger, even if you're in the middle of the pack, there's an award for the middle of the pack. Rear Guard Award, even if you're towards the bottom, there's an award for having a very low battle score and a very good sportsmanship score. So keep having fun, keep trying to give your opponents good games, and you can still walk away with something. And lastly, and certainly not least, is the Cornwell Cup, which I'm going to present to the club with 3 or more participants who have the highest overall score. I'm doing overall for this, and I'm doing total points routed of those 3 people for the first tiebreaker, and strength of schedule of all 3 of those folks for the second tiebreaker. Although I don't know that the cup has ever gone to a tiebreaker before, because 3 people is already a lot. So those are the awards that are available, and it's a little something for everybody. Now I do want to, if I can quickly find where the appearance judging stuff is. Again, all this information is on the website. I just like to point out things to people so that they know about it. If I can find where I put that real quick. It's Saturday morning. Somebody isn't prepared. Okay, here we go. So people that aren't familiar, hey, go away, Google. I do paint judging or appearance judging in 3 separate captions and in 4 tiers. The captions are paint, composition, and general effect. Paint is what it sounds like. It's literally just paint, how well you painted the models. At some tournaments, that's kind of all that they evaluate. Composition is the physical aspects of uh, what you've done. So that's like models are cleaned, gaps filled. You've positioned them in interesting ways on the bases. You've done cool things with multi-basing. You've done interesting things with your bases. Um, Maybe you have if you've like converted a bunch of stuff or like 3D printed stuff or customized stuff, that's where that would fall under. So it's just like the physical construction and like the physical arrangement and composition is what goes there. And then the third one is general effect, which is just sort of evaluating the overall appearance of the army, the theme, how well it gels is one thing, how unique and like dramatic or engaging looking is the army, or like does it tell a story? That's where that sort of stuff goes in. So, and then the 4 tiers down the side are basically just below tabletop quality. If you don't have all of your units painted, or you don't have enough models on the bases, or it looks like a random collection of units that aren't really an army, that's where you fall in there. Tabletop quality is sort of the meeting expectations level, where if your models are fully painted, 3-color fully painted, and generally tidy looking, if you have a sufficient number of models on the bases that they look full and there's no obvious gaps and mold lines, and you painted everything kind of the same color, then you'll score in this tier across the board, and you'll end up with 10, 12 points, something like that. That's like the average score. If you go above that to tournament quality, then you're talking about like having nice, smooth-looking transitions, or interesting techniques or color effects in paint. You've done in terms of composition, you've done some dramatic posing and some advanced basing techniques. You've got a display board of some sort, and it's generally just a more dynamic and unique-looking army. And in terms of general effect, like your army kind of stands out. It has a clear theme and scenic elements. And then for like the very top tier, the display quality, we're talking about display quality models, the sorts of models that you would submit individually, or units that you would submit individually to a painting contest, like a brush with death, crystal brush, golden demon, whatever. And Right, just everything very high level, a lot of advanced techniques executed very well, very advanced basing techniques. Everything looks perfect and scenic, and the army is just unique and memorable, and highly appealing. It's got that wow factor. So I will warn you all that I do not believe in perfect appearance scores. I've never given one, and I probably never will, because I think if you give out a perfect appearance score, then your scale didn't go high enough, because there's always something that someone can do. If you show up with a standard tabletop quality army, you'll get about 10 or 12 points, and that'll be average. Some people score all the way up in the 20s if they do really, really well. So what you will get at the end of the event is you will, in the final results, you will get your overall appearance score, but I will also include the 3 caption scores, so you can see what I scored you in paint, composition, and general effect. And that is just a way that I try to give people a little more visibility, like provide a little bit of transparency into why things scored the way they did, and in what you might need to improve in order to get a better score. I don't go through the whole thing of like writing out an actual description of what I thought could be better. But you should be able to just kind of eyeball this and see, like, I scored tier 2 for this, tier 3 for this, and tier 2 for this. So clearly, like, these are the areas that I would need to improve to get better. And this is the area that's generally good. And you should be able to like think about the army that you're bringing and have a general idea of which tier you're going to score in these three captions. Maybe not the exact number I'm going to give you in each caption, but you should have a general idea. You shouldn't be completely surprised or shocked by what you get. I think we're coming in on basically all that I wanted to talk about this time around. That covers a lot of stuff. We are 3 weeks out. Coming up in the future, I will once the venue gets a little more set up, I'll give you guys a venue tour, and so that everyone when they get here knows what's going on. I'm sure I'll have some other stuff to announce as we get closer. Um, I would like to remind everyone if they have any dietary restrictions or allergies to please let us know as soon as possible so we can accommodate you for that. Lists are due in 2 weeks from yesterday, and the event is now in 3 weeks. So we are into April, and the event is coming up fast. So let me just wrap back around here and make sure that I covered everything I was supposed to. Challenges, we've already got 6. If you want to challenge someone, check out the list of people that have been challenged to know who you can't challenge, and pick somebody else. There's still time for first round challenges. You can submit those until lists are due, which is again 2 weeks from yesterday. I talked about the swag we're printing up. I talked about that we're going to have open gaming and black powder on Friday night. Talk to Rob Kenzie if you want to get in on that. I warned you guys about the number of terrain pieces and the height. I talked about how I do door prizes and encourage everybody to carpool. I talked through the awards we're going to give out and how they're calculated. I talked about how I do appearance judging, and I asked folks to remind us about dietary restrictions. And that's everything I got on my list for this week, for reminding and updating all of you guys. Again, pretty much all this information is available on the website, so go check that out if you want. Once again, lists are due in 2 weeks, and my 3D printer is beeping at me, so I got to go check out what's going on there now. It's probably a color change for a metal or something. So that's it. Lists are due 2 weeks from tomorrow. Get in first round challenges if you want them. Get in practice games and finish painting. And I will see everybody in 3 weeks. Once again, lists due in 2 weeks. We will do a first round pairing video. And then I'll see everybody when they get here in 3 weeks from yesterday. So have fun, get hyped, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.